Greetings everyone, Imperial here, and now after some days of waiting for questions from you, I have decided to make this video answering your questions. Some of you might have heard these answers in the stream already, but I think for the many people that haven't followed the stream, I will just answer them here. Also note that I'm doing this introduction right now after I've actually answered the questions. So I would like to note that this is going to be split in two parts because this would be 50 minutes long and I don't think anyone would care for a 50-minute long Q&A video, so I split it into two parts. The next one will come next week, alongside, I hope, the next mapping episode, probably AHOE, yeah. So, have fun, enjoy the video, maybe you will learn some new stuff about me, who knows. So, let's take a look at it. I will go through these comments quite randomly. I will just pick them as they were presented to me at the top of the comment section in YouTube, and I will obviously go over the rather weird ones and put them at the end, if at all. I kinda have to decide about that. Then, so, the first one I want to answer is by DeathStar2. And let's just start with, who is your favorite German ruler? And that is actually a difficult one for me, since I don't really have a favorite German ruler. Many German rulers in the history of Germany, I don't like too many of them. They all had their flaws, they all had their ideas which I don't like. I definitely don't like the emperors. I'm not a monarchist. I like Ebert because he introduced the democracy to Germany, which is obviously a very important aspect in our history. At the same time, I also like Adenauer for a similar reason, but both of them are not quite my political area, if you know what I mean. Adenauer was a bit too conservative for me, while Ebert, he's still too left for my liking. Second question, do you like Alps? I quite like the Alps, since we basically go there once or twice a year, since with we, I mean my family and me, we are quite obsessed with skiing. I really love skiing, it's my favorite sport. Sadly, I can just do it in the winter time, and only like 4 weeks per year. But I go skiing since I was a young boy, maybe 3. I think I was 3 when I first started to do it. So I have quite good memories of the Alps. I prefer mountains generally over anything else. They are pretty beautiful in my opinion, especially the Alps. So, the next question, what's your favorite color? Green, easy as that, but sometimes I like it if it goes into a much more bluish tone. You know, I just like the color. Nothing to explain there. Fourth question, will you ever continue Erengeth? About that, I've basically mentioned this already in an update video, and sometimes I really don't understand my community why she isn't watching my update videos. Like, if you want to know what is up with my channel, just watch them, really. Such questions wouldn't exist if you just did. But well, Erengeth is not going to continue since it was not just well received on my channel. I personally liked it, although in retrospect I know that it was just way too ambitious for me. So, you know, it's quite unmotivating if you basically put so much work into this and then it just gets 70 likes, while your AHOE gets more than 5 times the same number. Like, AHOE got 400 to 500 likes at this time, so that was pretty damn demotivating, since I know that an active part of my fan base is not watching it. You know, that's not easy for someone creating this content, so it demotivated me over the time, and after some episode I just decided, nah, it's not worth it. Kind of sad, but it just had to be done. I couldn't have kept myself doing that for much longer anyways. The next comment is from Greater Austria Mapper, and these are some quite interesting questions there. First one, what's your favorite historical period? That's an easy one. Basically everything between, including the French Revolution to World War I is basically the area I know most about. And I find it the most interesting since a lot that has shaped our modern era. Some would even go further and say that this was the birth of our modern era. These events that happened in there have shaped our current way of living so much that it would be quite foolish to just ignore them. You know, the ideals of freedom, equality, liberty, all that. They stem from this area. That basically the concept of nation states, of Germany, Italy, all this, they all come from this period basically. And that's what I found so interesting, that this short amount of time can have such influence on our modern ones. That political development has just skyrocketed in this era out of nothing basically. That so much happened in such a short time. It's truly fascinating, and why it all happened. Question 2. What nation is the worst on the planet by its actions? Now this one is going to be a bit controversial. I can obviously go with the ones that are bottom tier for basically everyone, including me. You know, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, you name it. I mean, it's easy to say something about these nations which is not quite positive. You know, banning certain religions or banning religions altogether is not the most freedom-loving thing to do. And me, as someone who puts a lot of worth into freedom and the values of liberty, well, I just cannot accept these governments taking this potential freedom away from the people. But if you want to have something really controversial, then it will be my opinion about America. Let's just say that I'm not a friend of their foreign policies at all. A lot of chaos that has erupted in the world recently stemmed from their actions and their mindset of being the world police. Although, quite frankly, maybe we just don't need a world police if it is making that much damage in the long run. What's your favorite flag? Quite easy, the current German one. Probably because I know the most about it, like the symbolism, but I also like the color combination. It's quite unique, only Belgium has it and they got it after us. Although they are seemingly not related. I didn't know that until like last week or so. You know, we Germans had like this saying around our flag. Also, just one side note, I'm probably one of the few mappers who prefers our current flag over the imperial one, you know, the black, white, red one. I just think that the color combination is just boring. Like, half of Arabia has this coloration. You really want that? I don't know. While we just share our current one with Belgium, and that is maybe a lot better. Like the saying around our flag, I would call it a mythos, and the birth of our flag was out of the dark of bondage through bloody battles to the golden light of freedom. You know, the black bondage, you know, the black part, bloody battles is the red part, and the golden light is the golden part. I kinda like the symbolism a lot, so you may add something on it. I don't like the Iron Cross. Maybe something like the old eagle on it would look quite aesthetically too. You know, but this base is already good as it is in my opinion. Who's the most overrated mapper besides Romanian? It's actually a good question. I would actually say that Romanian is not that overrated anymore, since no one cares about him anymore. This channel has died. Let's just put it like that. Took it long enough, but it has died, pretty much. And currently, I don't see anyone being overrated. You could say, wow, you're not trying to do drama with anyone, but I don't see anyone being overrated. I wouldn't say that everyone has what he truly deserved in the end, but I'm not envy of anyone. Yeah. Question 5. What do you think about the AFD?
I personally say that the AfD has its use in German politics, basically being the waking call for the old parties to get their shit together. But I wouldn't ever elect them myself. They are too conservative for my liking. Not just conservative, but authoritarian in many of their policies. So I see their point, and obviously as someone who thinks that everyone should be allowed to express their opinion in some way as long as it's not hurting anyone. Yeah, just vote for the party that is representing you, and we shouldn't try to legalize the AfD, which, by the way, for anyone not knowing, that's basically the populist party of Germany, Alternative for Germany. It's the right-wing populist party. I think they are right conservative, I would say, with some nationalist influences. They are not my party, but I basically see that they have their point and yeah, cannot do anything about it. Just vote for them if you wish. I won't. Question 6. Why are Italians so bad at war? If you want a serious answer, I think it's the lack of centralization that has punished the Italian military ever since its unification. I'm not a military historian, and especially not about Italian history, but I feel like that after the unification it basically lacked a central body to govern it properly. That's what I was told, at least by an Italian friend. So I cannot say too much about this question. Question 7. Who was the worst person in human history? This question... I got this question already, and that was rather directed towards me saying, yeah, Hitler obviously, but then people just said, but Stalin and Mao killed more people. I'm of the opinion that this does not matter too much, since if we are going to talk about millions of dead people, it doesn't matter if one killed 7 and one killed 6 million. Quite honestly, they both killed a lot of people, and I won't judge them for the kill count they have. That's ridiculous. I'd say Hitler because it's more of a German thing, and I am German. So I don't think I have to explain too much here. And thanks for the congratulations, of course. I really appreciate it. Are you planning on doing more Erangel ever? I already said that, but maybe... Well, let's get to that later. So, Hatamanate mapping. That's a familiar face. I would advise you to sub to him. I've heard that there are going to be interesting videos on his channel quite soon. Which mapping series is your favorite, and what is, by your opinion, the best series that you have made, including the season if it's AHOE? Which mapping series is my favorite, huh? I saw myself enjoying the AFOE of Proxima the most. Yeah, like the Project Ragnarok thing. That was the one that got me most excited when I was opening my subbox and I saw that he uploaded. Yeah, those were the times. I hope he's, maybe Proxima has recently uploaded. Really hope he's going through that again and not just giving up like last time. Yeah. Other series which I liked are Rome's Legacy by the Red of Mapping. This one was pretty great too, more character based, and I put a lot of value into characters and my own stories too, so I think Red did a very good job there. My personal favorite series is actually neither Erangel nor AHOE nor anything upcoming, but something that was not even done by me alone, and something I'm really sad that it didn't work out. It was the collab Divergences. That this collab has had so much potential. I really loved making the episode, and that's why it was 15 minutes long, because I really liked to do this episode. I genuinely felt enjoying making it. Such a shame that it collapsed. Such a shame that we couldn't continue it any longer. I love the series. I love the concept behind it. And it's still one of my most comparably popular videos on my channel, so that's speaks for itself. From David Mapping, what is your favorite mobile game? I don't play any mobile games anymore for 4 years now. No, can't answer. I won't answer that. What do you think of the upcoming game Imperator Rome? I like Paradox games. I've heard about this game. I've looked up a bit about it. Seems interesting that they are exploring a new age. I'm not quite sure if they have explored that age once. Of course, I think there was already another release of them which was set in this time. Not quite sure about it anymore. I'm not that much of a Paradox fanboy. I'm excited about it. I will definitely play it once it is out and seems to get good reviews. Third question, what's the first and what's the oldest mapping video you have ever seen? I think that was 5 or 4 years ago. I rather tend to have it 5 years ago when I really have to get the name again. It was basically me just looking up possible predictions of the future of Europe. I don't really know how I got the idea to look that up, but I did. And I feel like I'm the only one in this community who did it this way. And I think it was a Polish dude. He doesn't make any videos anymore. He had like many subs for this time. I will try, maybe I will find the name again and then I will just inform you about it, but I really don't know the video anymore. That is just too long ago. What's your favorite board game? I like Monopoly a lot. Nothing more to say about it, to be honest. I just love to inflict pain on my friends when they accidentally stab on one of my more expensive streets. Just fulfills my heart with joy. 5. How would you describe US politics in one sentence? They should try to contain the misfit that is resulting out of it to their own nation. 6. What are your top 3 most favorite countries and their flag you ever made up? My personal ones. Additionally, I want to say most of the flags I do are not by me. I really suck at making flags. Just want to get that off real quick. Most flags are either done by Welsh Mapping or Proxima. So yeah. But the 3 nations I love making most are obviously at the top the fascist Empire of France. That was easily my favorite character. I also like the UBSR and Austria. I think those are my top 3 because they had the most interesting personalities, which I really like to explore. I mean, it was kind of obvious that the series is centered about at least the first one of them. By Nizam, I hope that's the way I have to pronounce it. Which mapper do you think is your biggest copycat? Oh, he was in the video already. But I want you to subscribe to him. It's Hetamanate Mapping. He's quite the big copycat, but he does it in a very original way, so please subscribe to him. I want that my style to be spread around in the community, so please sub to him. He's a very, very good copycat of mine. Secondly, what is your favorite mapping series? I already said that. Either AFOE by Proxima or Rome's Legacy by Red of Mapping. Thirdly, how long was the longest historical discussion you ever had? Oh, I think that was around the German identity before 1848. I had with Red of Mapping. You know, Red of Mapping and me are quite good friends, but we used to get in a lot of arguments because we don't necessarily align in politics and things and the things we see in history. We see quite a lot of stuff differently. And we basically had a discussion about if we could call the Germanic population of Germany Germans before an actual unification was even thought about. And we had quite a long Twitter discussion which ended with tears and angry words, but we got over it, and it was quite hilarious, to be honest, in retrospect. We kind of got emotional about it, which is really weird because that rarely happens for me. So I think we sat there for 4 hours in total. So that was quite a long discussion over pretty much nothing, which is the most funny thing about it. Fourth opinion on immigrants. That's such a broad question. Like, obviously I have nothing against the concept of immigrants in total, but he's probably more referring to the recent immigration waves coming from the Middle East. I have a more balanced pose on that one. I don't want to just block any immigration out of Germany or Europe in general completely, but I think it was a mistake to open the borders like we did back then in 2015. I mean, it's not much of a problem anymore, like they are barely coming anymore. It's not comparable, so I think that the question is a bit out of date. I don't have any opinions about it because they don't affect my life currently at all. Just a bit that we just tend to be radical on this opinion, like either you just are like, refugees welcome, open the borders, there are no illegal people, or they are going to destroy our culture, they are going to rape our children, we cannot allow them to be in our nation. I am neither of those two, because they both have their flaws and mistakes. You just have to maybe take a stance beyond the ones that are so commonly presented on the internet and form your own opinion about that. You're a human being, you can think for yourself. That's my opinion about the recent immigration crisis. I think that we have to help the actual refugees, and that we can obviously use the more skilled labor coming to our countries, but I definitely disagree with letting everyone in or no one in at all. 5 is the rate of mapping actually a mouse. Well, you obviously are able to read, so read his name, duh. From Dane the Second Ironfoot. Do you plan to do another fantasy series in the future now that you have a bit more experience? Definitely. I have something like this planned, and it's going to be more original than Erangel was. Especially since it has to do with my book. I will talk about this book. Yes, I have indeed a fantasy series planned, but it's going to be so far in the future that most of the people that have watched this video won't even remember it anymore, so it makes no sense to talk about it. And yes, I'm planning that far ahead in the future. That's just being me. Also, do you play Mount & Blade Warband? Nope, I don't. So, this was the first part of the Q&A. I think we covered a lot of good questions already, and I think I will upload the next part next weekend. I will edit it in the next 2 or 3 days, and then continue to work on AHOE, or AHOW, whatever you will. So, I wish you all a nice day, thanks for watching, see ya.